All right, we're back here with part 3 of our MMA, NBA professional wrestling podcast, and we are going to be discussing the 3 levels of the Hell Match. Wayne, take us through them.
The first stage will be a lumberjack match.
The lumberjack match. And what exactly is a lumberjack match? What's the rules? And how do you win in a lumberjack match? With a pinfall?
Pin or submission.
Pin or submission.
How much people stand around the ring. That's all.
So they're throwing you back in.
Yeah.
Is that the way it goes?
If you try to get out of the ring, they'll throw you back in.
And usually there's a big fight with the lumberjacks because they're siding with one person.
Oh,
or
okay.
another.
Yeah.
That would be cool to see in that match, a lumberjack match.
You know, that would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
You know, in Japan, they would have probably done something like that. Now, the UFC, they're not going to do that. But back in Pride, they would do all, they had all kinds of matches. They really did. Back in the day, before Zuffa had the UFC, they did have a David and Goliath event. That was back in the day. Anyway, Ryan, what do you think about the lumberjack match?
Well, it's always unpredictable with lumberjack matches, and history tells that they've been unpredictable.
So anything can happen.
Yes.
Do you like a lumberjack match? Do you particularly like, and you find out entertaining?
Not entertaining, but it's entertaining to a degree.
To a degree. What's the second stage? Beyond. So the person has to get through the lumberjack match. Somebody. Okay, we have a winner and loser in the lumberjack match. What does that mean for the second stage?
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Someone wins the lumberjack match and they win the next match. They don't go to the third stage. But if somebody wins the lumberjack match and the other person wins the next match, they go to the third stage.
Okay.
So it's the best 2 out of 3, but with just
The
3.
best. Okay, the best 2 out of 3 falls, but one is the lumberjack match. Okay, what's the second level?
That's the tables match.
That's the tables match. And how do you win a tables match?
You throw your opponent through the table.
So whoever gets, like the Dudley boys used to do, basically.
Exactly.
Whoever throws their opponent through the table. Ryan, do you remember the Dudleys?
Yes.
Do you remember Devon testifying?
Devon, get the table.
Get the table, that's right. Aren't they in the TNA right now? Yeah. Okay, what's the third level?
Ambulance match.
The ambulance match. Okay, what does this consist of?
Your opponent basically beating you to a pulp where you can't move, and they carry you and throw you in the back of the ambulance.
So
if you get thrown in the back of that ambulance and that ambulance leaves with you, you've lost that.
You've lost the match.
Yeah.
So actually, when you receive medical attention, you've lost.
More ways than one.
More ways than one. So, I've never seen an ambulance match. That's actually new to me. I've seen everything. The Indian strap match, that's a long time ago.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
How about a barbed wire match?
Barbed wire match. The old steel cage match. That's
bull rope match.
I remember the bull rope match. I certainly do.
Loser leave town match.
Loser leave town match. We almost had one of those in MMA. We almost did. You remember that, Dawson?
Silva and Son.
Yes, that's correct.
And Son and lied.
Whoa, now.
Ooh, now.
Okay. What do you lie about?
What did he lie about? Yeah.
He said he would leave if he lost, and he didn't leave.
There was a certain Canadian talk show host addressed this was Chael. Did you see that?
Nope.
Well, I'm going to show you that clip after the podcast. Okay. I remember as a young boy watching Randy Savage. He's my most favorite of all time. He wrestled Pistol Pez Whatley. I've told you all before. And the other day, you can still watch this on YouTube, is him and Ricky Steamboat during WrestleMania. That is a classic match. What do you think, Ryan?
Mm-hmm. It was a classic match.
Him and Ricky Steamboat.
That was for the Intercontinental title.
That's right. Who won that one?
Steamboat did.
Yeah, that is correct. Ricky Steamboat became the Intercontinental Champion.
A title which WWE has been.
Do you all remember when Hulk Hogan teamed up with Mr. T?
Yeah.
Was that WrestleMania 1?
Actually, it was.
Yeah. They
It
took up
Paul Orndorff and
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper.
That's right.
Do you remember Undertaker versus Mankind?
I do.
In that wild match. That might be the most violent match I think I've ever seen.
That was it was wild. It was.
That one was not scripted.
That was tough. You know, that would separate the men from the boys in that match.
It did all right.
Was there not what do you call them, you stick thing? Was they used in the match?
Thumbtacks.
Well, didn't Mankind fall on them in that match?
He did.
Oh, was it? Oh, the thumbtacks.
Yeah.
He have them in his mouth and everything. He fell through the cage.
Yeah.
He took a lot of abuse in that match. He took a lot of abuse.
That was a cell match when Taker threw him out the.
Oh, was it? Was it a different one? I'm sorry. Some of my more favorite. I watched a documentary the other day of Bret Hart. You know, and I enjoyed that a lot. Y'all remember the Hart Foundation?
Brad thinking Jim Handle, my heart.
That's right.
Remember the Montreal screw job?
I remember that very well.
TNA tried to do that the other couple months ago.
You know, that was just, it's going to be hard to really pull that off. You don't know if you can mimic that or not. That was and that's still a source of tension, you know. Bret Hart has actually suffered from a stroke. I think he was basically saying it was a result of a bicycle accident where he got a concussion. But I was glad to see he finally did return to the WWE. Him and Shawn Michaels. And they were two really good performers. What do you think, Ryan?
Yes, they were very good performers.
They were really good. Ryan, some of the old matches that you liked. Some of the old. Did you have a particular
Not
guy
really.
that you rooted for when you was little?
Remember the Four Horsemen and Dusty Rhodes feuding?
I do.
That was when wrestling was at its best.
Who was the original members of the Four Horsemen?
The original Ole and Arn, Rick
Tully Blanchard.
and Tully. You know, they did. Tully and Arn actually went to the WWE, and they won the tag titles there
That's
once.
the Brainbusters.
They did. They did. You know, they were successful too. They've been several members of the Four Horsemen though. Lex Luger was a member.
Barry Windham.
Sting was.
You know, Chris Benoit,
Dean Malenko.
the man of 1,000 holds, if I remember. He
Remember
was.
Kevin Sullivan?
I do.
That guy was just...
He was wild.
He was wild, yeah.
Dungeon Master.
We have a book down there that you might want to read. It's called The Death of the WCW. And it's funny. Yeah, I can't keep a straight face every time I think of it. Kevin Nash, you know, and Scott
Big
Hall.
Sexy.
And actually it was Scott Hall. He used to, I think it was Scott Hall who referred to Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit as the vanilla midgets. As the vanilla midgets. Meaning they were short in stature like me. And vanilla meaning they were plain, they didn't bring nothing to the table, there's nothing unique. And he used to refer to them as the vanilla midgets. And that was not a term of endearment.
No.
But you have to admit it was funny. What happened to Dean Malenko? Unfortunately, we know what happened to Chris Benoit.
He works behind the scenes at WWE.
Oh, is he? So he's still with the WWE? Yeah. Well, that's really good. And he was a good wrestler.
At a press conference the other night, this person, it was Sheamus, CM Punk, and some other dude, and they was up there at a press conference. I think it was, what's his name? I can't remember. Maybe Dolph Ziggler was the other one. And they asked any of them why WWE was trying to erase Chris Benoit from history. None of them would answer it, and CM Punk just simply answered it, and he said, "We're not trying to erase him from history, just how he died. We just don't want to talk about that."
You know, that was a horrible tragedy. You know, I have no idea what would possess him to do that. I know they say, you know, obviously
Roid rage.
Yeah.
that it's roid rage. You know, I don't know what happened there. I do believe he did have really high, elevated levels of testosterone. I don't know what happened with him. It may have been a conglomerate of things, different drugs that he was on, maybe some of the head trauma that he had during, you know, his career. I know there was one argument that basically said that his brain, I think they looked at his brain tissue and stated that, you know, he had like the brain tissue of a dementia patient. But, and they was all the high impact maneuvers he did, you know, off the rope and stuff. Vince McMahon had, I thought, a pretty logical comeback there. He said, if he was debilitated to that extent, how did he travel? You know, you take an elderly dementia patient, they can't go, most of them can't go buy a ticket to get on an airplane to travel to one city to the next. So he had a good point there. I will never know, you know, to be quite honest, I don't believe. But we would agree that is a tragedy.
Yes.
It certainly is. Most of the time when we're talking about performance enhancers, the stakes are not nearly this high. You know, some people think it's cheating. Some people think it evens the playing field. You know, I guess it's on the, you know, the person's opinion. What was you going to say, Ryan? I'm sorry?
I lost my train of thought there. I'm sorry.
And that's not a problem.
Again, I want to say, though, before going further, people that are listening, please be patient with us.
Ryan's begging for mercy, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Dawson, what do you think about performance-enhancing drugs? Do they have a place in sports?
Makes them more exciting.
Wayne, what do you think?
At this moment, I have no comment.
You have no comment. There is this loophole that a lot of them are using. Some people consider it a loophole. Some people think it's actually, you know, a legitimate condition that these athletes have to use it when you have low testosterone. And they get TRT, which is testosterone replacement therapy, which ideally is just supposed to bring them back up to normal levels. And that right there is the problem. Some people think, you know, these people are using TRT to actually juice. You know, I guess the jury is still out on that, and it's ever evolving. So,
The one thing I have against steroid use altogether, one simple thing: it causes shrinkage.
Shrinkage. You're talking about testicular atrophy.
Exactly.
It does cause that. It's atrophy. Anything that you don't use will atrophy. You've seen anybody that broke the arm and got a cast on it, and when they take the cast off, there's a noticeable difference in size. That arm has atrophied. There is ways that you can get around that, if I understand correctly. One of them being HCG, human chronic gonadotropin. And the odd thing about this is they get this from the urine of pregnant women. What this does is cancer patients sometimes, and when Lance Armstrong, they detected that in his urine. If you're an expecting female, it's normal. If you're a young man, it means trouble. Basically, what that does, it is the substance that the woman's body produces to basically camouflage the fetus to keep the body from attacking it. Unfortunately, in Lance Armstrong's case, it was cancer. It was actually tumors. Tumors will do the same thing, and your body won't fight that off. I'm getting a little off topic, but how it prevents testicular atrophy is not known, but people will do that along with testosterone replacement therapy to actually prevent testicular atrophy. So, but anyway, you have to know what you're doing when you mess with hormones.
Evidently, Lance didn't.
I'm not saying that. I honestly don't know. I'm still in Lance's corner. I don't like the bullying aspect, but as far as what is it, EPO, the erythropoietin, and all that, I guess I'm a little more open-minded. I just don't think he's done anything nobody else hasn't.
If it wasn't for roids, we wouldn't have had the Terminator.
I guess Dawson has a point. Would Arnold Schwarzenegger ever reached his full potential without roids?
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
he was only in competition for one thing, that was bodybuilding, nothing else.
that's true. And if I understand, and I don't, I'm talking out of ignorance on this one. I honestly, I'm not into the professional bodybuilding loops. I don't know how prevalent it is. You could look at them and say it's pretty big. Folks, we're going to sign off right now. Please stay tuned for part 4.